Mayor Pete was on a 2-month paternity, whatever the heck you want to call it, leave. The guy was gone. Okay. The guy was not working. Because why? He was trying to figure out how to chest feed. Maybe someone should tell him, please, so he can get back to work. Listen, I'm a mother of 4. I delivered one of my children in the front seat of my truck because as a mom of 4, we got things to do. Ain't nobody got time for 2.5 months of maternity leave. We have a world to save here.
Just so awful in so many ways. Yeah, it's so. First of all, the casual homophobia of the chest feed. Also, just the term chest feed itself. I'm assuming it's a regional thing. It seems weird to me to call it that. But anyway, so she was so busy as a mother of 4 that you didn't have, you just necessarily didn't have time to get to a hospital. Why present it that way? It's a thing that happens. Sometimes your plans go awry. That's perfectly reasonable. Don't try to pretend that well, I was just going about my day. I had a check mark, gave birth to a kid. That's not how that actually works, okay? Stop making people feel bad for wanting to take maternity or paternity leave. It exists for a reason. So there, Lauren Boebert seems really against it. The idea that you'd want to spend time with kids you just had or whatever. But now she's tweeting in a way that makes it seem as if she's changed her position. She said, anyone else consider that these companies suddenly offering to pay for employee abortions are doing so just to avoid paying for maternity leave? Cheaper to kill the baby. True evil personified. So they're being cheap and evil because they won't do the maternity leave that she thinks is a massive waste of time and possibly a joke. I don't understand JR. I hope that she changes up her position and now she's in favor of it, but it doesn't sound like it. What do you think?
I've got good news for you, John. She doesn't understand it either. She has no damn clue
I guess
what she's talking about. But again, it's supposed to be one of those things where you just have a one-liner and then people glom onto it. You get your little cheers and you get your retweets and your likes. They move on to the next nonsense line that gets the next retweets and the likes. This is the way legislators now, I guess, legislate by tweeting stupid, nonsensical, contradictory statements. They kind of sound like pundits, kind of like Candace Owens. Remember, she was talking about, well, how come if we can give away free COVID vaccines and shots, how come we can't get anything else in our healthcare system for free? Exactly, dummy. Exactly. This is the problem. If you understand what people actually need and why it's helpful for people in general to have it, then that's why you can pose these things to maybe even some of Lauren Boebert's voters, the 2 that are left, to be like, hey, don't you like what she said about having to have some maternity leave?
Yeah.
You do understand that's what we're fighting for you. And it's not just to be given to you. You paid for that. That's what people keep leaving off the end of it. This is not free. This is stuff that we paid for. We're just not getting it. It means we're getting screwed.
100%. It's one of my favorite issues of the past year, by the way, was Fox News, who suddenly is supposed to be populist, they care about their viewers or whatever, trying to convince them and successfully convincing many of them to hate the idea that they would have time off from their work for even 5 minutes. They succeeded in that, making men feel like it would be pathetic of you to take time off. That's what they told their audience, and it worked. By the way, here's a little interesting bit of irony. I have no doubt in my mind, I would stake every dollar I have that the term I used before, chest feeding, she used it to insult Buttigieg. Apparently, people are saying that is actually considered more inclusive. That is what people use to be more inclusive. There is no way that that's why she was doing it, but it looks like she accidentally stumbled into using more inclusive language, and I'll consider that a win. Thank you to those of you in the audience who let me do that. I did not know that, but I appreciate learning. In any event, the reason that we want to talk about this at the end of the day isn't about Lauren Boebert, it's about maternity leave. Because I will remind you, we are 15 months into the Biden administration. And if you were to put forward a bill to do maternity leave, I have no doubt that it would get, or maternity or paternity leave, that it would get shot down, that they wouldn't overturn the filibuster to get it through. But that said, you should be fighting for it. Seems important. And I will remind you, one of the most shocking maps I guess you can see. Take a look at this. We're gonna jump ahead a few graphics. This map of the world. It is the level of leave. Now, this is specifically for maternity leave. We are one of 7 countries without any national paid maternity leave. I love that they acknowledge on this map from New York Times that some of the nations are so small that they don't appear on the map. That is who we are in contention with for least leave. We do have the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993 that guarantees 12 weeks of family leave, not paid leave. All it is you cannot instantly be fired by your employer for wanting to take a little bit of time off, but you will not be compensated. And we all know how people are doing economically. I'm sure they can take 3 months off without any pay and be perfectly fine.
The only thing left is to make sure that if you're an opponent of Lauren Boebert or anyone else who thinks like her, which there's many, is point out how much they actually don't care about children. Because they like to talk about how they're the pro-life party. And we know we always say this stuff, but every time they say it, then bring it back up. They set themselves up for these contradictory statements all the time. They don't care about children. They actually don't care about raising children, but they'll turn around and say, where are the parents? We gotta give parents more rights. How come they're not involved in their education? You teach them at home. How the hell do I teach them at home if you won't allow me to go home? But yeah, none of that stuff has to be discussed because all it is shaming people and then saying you're a better person because you had a baby in a pickup truck. Because that's a good plan to have.
Yeah, and by the way, if it happens, it happens. It's just, it is this weird, like she clearly thinks that, and by the way, look, read about what actually happened. She's exaggerating what actually happened, but that it makes her superior, that like you're somehow better if you willingly forego what the rest of the world believes is your due. That in 2022, you should not expect a single moment more consideration than peasants were given in feudal England. And they've succeeded in getting their viewers to believe this. Like maybe there's some conservatives watching this. Like, do you get that they don't care at all about your actual economic well-being? Like they'll give you, like I know you value like that some trans swimmer in Texas won't be able to compete anymore over your own economic well-being. But do you notice that the things they feed to you every day almost universally provide no even theoretical harm against a corporation or against a rich person's interests? Like, isn't it coincidental that they'll go hard, fiery against all these things that the 1% don't care about at all? Like, do you get that you're being distracted from actual core economic concerns? But they don't get it. Their politicians have convinced them of it. There is a 24/7 media apparatus, both on the cable news side and then the supposedly independent right on YouTube, that all, whether they consider themselves more establishment or more populist, they have convinced people to never believe that things should ever get better for them economically. Or that if you are gonna talk about economics, it is purely that immigrants are coming to ruin your well-being, your way of life. That's it. That's as far as they'll take it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.